Everyone, this is my anticipated moment. Bruce sees all. It's an honor to have you on tonight, Bruce.
Peace, everyone. Peace, man. Thanks for having me, man.
You the best moon man I've seen on YouTube.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah, I've been watching you for 2 years, and I respect your work. Um, that new telescope you have, that's awesome, man. But the last one you had was just as awesome, pretty much so, because you would pick up structures on the moon and
Yeah, we did
you
good.
know,
It all depends on how close it is, eh? Like with the smaller telescope, Bianchini crater, the moon was close. I was able to get a nice shot along the Terminator line. But with the 14, when it comes back to that spot, it'll be even better. It's waiting. It's a waiting game. It's following the Terminator line, see what you can get on the surface, and but there's lots to see, lots of phenomenon, anyways, on the surface. Definitely some person either is there now or was that constructed some objects. It doesn't mean that it's living with billions of people. I don't have the confirmation, but I can easily share and show at least a couple of structures, and that's without a doubt. People can't say anything against, and that's what's getting a few people mad, because I mean it's proof. It's proof, just seeing structures on the surface. Are they old or not? That we don't know. But they look well kept, I would say.
yeah, they still standing pretty strong, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. And if they've been there for 1,000 years, you got to wonder, wouldn't they be overgrown with something? I don't know. They talk about erosion, but then again, they say that nothing moves. Everything stays the same. The flag, the footprints are there. So there's no erosion then. If there was erosion, everything would erode and you wouldn't see anything. Solar winds, so much comes into consideration. And I'm not even a scientist there. Like we were talking, you and I, just before, we're not here to pass off as scholars. We're searching for truth. That's all we're trying to do. And I'm no genius, but I mean, whoa, hang on. There's common sense. There's a lot that we can distinguish just us regular people. If that's what some people want to call us. We're not scientists, so we still have common sense, so we can see what we're looking at. We know how cameras work. We know there's a haze now on the moon that we found out. We're trying to get rid of the haze. That's something we absolutely have to get rid of. We will. We should get rid of that real soon. But I mean, in the image, get rid of the haze so we can see the surface a bit better. That's what I'm always trying to work on. Just old school, trying to get the images clearer and get better video. But along the way, we're still documenting a lot of evidence, and that's what I'm doing. It's my 4th year starting now, so I think we're doing pretty good, finding a lot of stuff, that's for sure.
Have you ever found any pyramids on the moon?
I definitely found triangular shapes. And what's hard, because of, they talk about the optical illusion. I'm sure you heard of it too. When you look at things on the moon that are high off the surface, they say that they look lying down or distorted a bit because of the libration, the uneven wobble, and the parallax. It's a bunch of, scientific terms that tell us that because we're two moving objects, the objects are looking like they're lying down. But the triangles that I see, if they're not flat, they'd be definitely pyramids standing up on the surface. So, and if they're not standing up like pyramids, they're lying down. But you can definitely see triangles, and they are black. I've seen, basically, when I see a triangle on the moon, it's that's not true. It's not black. It's either it's white or black, but glowing white, and you can't see it. And when you invert the image, whoops, then you see, wow, that triangle. Or 2 or 3 triangles, like in the Apennine Mountains I've been showing recently, they come out in the video and the image, and you're able to bring it out to see it. So there's a whole bunch all over the moon. There's a whole bunch of different structures, like squares, perfect circles beside Plato crater, more than one, rectangles, and they're all connected. Every single one of them are connected, and you wonder, how can it be something that's natural? They're hiding something, and you see smokes, mists, and hazes coming from a glowing rectangle on the surface, and you wonder, but screwing things up, getting things a bit even more wild, my friend Dave. If we Dave 44, if we talk about in the water, looking in the bottom of the ocean, if in the bottom of the ocean we're seeing that things out of shape, because obviously if you look at the fish in an aquarium, it's big, right? And if you take the fish out of the aquarium, it's smaller. So everything's like distorted and big. But when we look at the moon, that's the effect. It doesn't mean we're looking at water, but that's the effect that we have at the surface. Everything's a bit pudgy, you know, it's swollen, and it's a bit out of shape a bit, and it's waving, just like in the bottom of the ocean. Often I compare the surface with the bottom of the ocean. Looking visually, you see all these traits that come up when you're looking at the moon as compared to when you're looking at the ocean, that leaves you to wonder, hey, are we looking in an ocean or what? You know, how much of it is water? How much of it is disturbance, atmospheric disturbance? I don't know.
When I watch your videos, I know you know the names of many craters.
Yeah.
In your estimation, how many craters do you believe are on the moon? And is water settled down in any of them craters?
That's a great question. Well, we know right off the bat, like they call them mares. Mares, right off the bat. Mare is a Mari, and it means ocean or sea in another language. So you say, why would they have called them seas? They said in a long time ago there could or would have been water around the craters. Let me tell you, I believe the moon would be full of water around the crater. And what else did you ask me? Sorry, about the crater's water, but what was the other question, Dave?
How many, in your estimation, craters
there
are on the moon?
Yeah, because that's an important one. I think, I don't even know what they said. I think if they said it must be like 20, 30,000 craters, I have no idea. But if you look at the surface, there are definitely 60, 70,000, maybe even more supposed craters, because we can't see them all right now. But the more we zoom in, they call them craterlets, and those are smaller craters on the surface. So basically each big magnification box area, in other words, every time you zoom in, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 millimeters with a telescope, you're seeing these new craters just infested. The smaller they are, the more there are. So you see there's a whole bunch of big ones, but there's a lot of smaller ones. There's even more smaller ones, but there's even more even smaller ones. It doesn't end. And they're still counting them every day. There's always new craters being found. And now, if it's true, they're talking about the new craters that are hitting the moon just since 2006 or 2007. They're already up to 20 or 25, I think. I'm not sure on the exact number, but they're documenting them. Apparently, there's new craters that are being formed on the moon. But they don't look like the craters that are already there, man. It's just a streak that they're showing, you know? And the craters that we're looking at are humongous. You'd wonder, why would the moon have not cracked in half, or I don't know, you know? There's just so many large holes for the massive size of the moon. It's not that big if you look at the craters that are on it. It was just bombarded. And how could they have missed the Earth? You got to wonder how so many craters could have missed Earth. And they're all bombarded on the between Earth and the moon is where we see all the craters, the southern highlands. I don't get it. Unless the moon was turned around many years ago and it got a whole bunch of asteroids or meteors on the other side. We really don't know what went on with the moon, many years ago. We really don't know.
Yeah, I'd say in scientific estimation, some of them craters are thousands of years old.
Yeah, that's what they say. I would say more thousands of years old than what they're saying. I mean, they're talking in the era of, they're talking back in the times of the Copernican times, and they're talking millions of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago. I don't know. But now, man, they just came out with this new carbon dating. You know how they try to analyze the bones, right? Now they say that they can detect fossils, find out how old they are by carbon dating them and looking at the stones. Well, now they're going to be able to do it apparently with the bones of an actual skull. So in other words, you know, they're probably going to go back to the shroud now and to do all these ancient Egyptian kings or gods to find out what year that they died, because we're a bit off, like on our carbon dating. It doesn't coincide with history and stuff like that. But I tend to think it's just because the history is off. Not the history, sorry, the forensics is off a bit. But this is something new, and I think it has to do with disclosure, man. If they're going to talk about carbon dating and all this, I don't know. I think it could be something big. You never know.
Yes, sir. What do you say to critics that say the moon is just a light?
That's a great question, and thanks for bringing it up, because these are all things that come up often in the astronomy community. Is the moon just a light? I have no idea if it could be just a light, and I don't rule out the theory, but I'm still speculative on it. I know Crow 777, if I'm not mistaken, talks about it being a luminary. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me Crow is one of those people that say it could be a light. I'll tell you what. Here it is. With my research, I have to ask myself if I'm looking at a light. Well, if it's a light, on top of the light, we're seeing structures. So I sort of try to blend the two theories, and I come up with this crazy, not so crazy theory that says, hey, well, maybe it is a light, just a luminary, but inside of that light, they have an entire nation of people living under that blinding light, which in reality, maybe the surface isn't blinding at all. And just, I'm learning it just now, man. It is so hard since, again, I'm not a genius, freaking refraction of light, studying the scattering of light, how light interacts in another medium when it enters into water, when it enters, through space. You get refraction of light. So I don't know. You have to take all that into consideration and wonder.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but you wonder, and the more you study, the more you come up empty. It seems you come up with more, conclusions or stuff. But if it's a luminary, there's structures on it. So for me, it's definitely more than just a luminary. And I think it could be a combination of being a luminary and in hiding, actually holding a species, an entire species there, or excavation. Alien excavation, who knows? It sounds silly because nobody knows a lot about aliens or if they even exist, but I don't think it's far-fetched thinking that maybe there could be different species they're mining, and that they understand that all they have to do is stick up a light and they won't have to ever interact with us. Probably wouldn't give a heck about us, just on the surface, or who knows the interaction that we have with other species. It's scary it can get scary when you think of it. It can. I try to see it in a positive way, but it could be like so huge when you think of it all together.
I thank you for answering my questions.
My pleasure, man.
Do you believe maybe that the moon could omit a coldness, a freezing type temperature from it?
That's an exciting question, actually. One that I fantasize over. Honestly, man, listen, you got into something that is in my head. I've always said that the precipitation and all weather here on Earth has to do 101% with the moon, and depending on how the moon is beside Earth. I believe that the two celestial objects together cause the cold or heat, and probably even both. Absolutely. Not so much the sun. Sure, the sun, I think it's a combination of everything, of course, all in synchronicity. But in general, the moon is causing the cold here on Earth, I believe. Like, for example, I'll give you a good example. When it's the full moon, some people won't understand it if they're not in areas where it's very humid. And if you're in a dry area, maybe Arizona, you're not going to see this at all. But here, the crystallization in the air and everything that occurs when the full moon is out and it's -20, -25. If we're going to get snow, they announce 40 feet. They don't announce 5 feet. They announce 40 feet when the moon's out. So I do believe, whether it be magnetism somehow or just a natural phenomenon we don't understand, I definitely believe the temperatures have a great deal to do with the moon. 100%.
Yes, sir. Very good answer.
Thanks, man. I passed.
No, you're very knowledgeable.
No, I try anyways. I try. I'm using common sense, and now I'm just so infatuated with what I'm finding on the moon. It's so interesting to me, and it's like I'm doing the opposite. I shouldn't have found these things. I should have started by studying and then winding up finding them with a telescope. But me, I found all these things with the telescope, and now I've thrown myself in studies to be able to understand what the heck's going on and what I'm finding. But I'm learning so much, and I'm.
Can I back up a little bit?
Yes, sir.
What brought your interest into astronomy and studying the moon?
It's funny you say that. Thanks for asking. Well, I've always been a spiritual person, and a lot of people have different understandings on what a spiritual person is. It's just that I believe, quite simply, straight up, I believe that other worlds can exist. I believe other species in other worlds could also exist. And honestly, I've always said that if they did, it would probably be on the other planets or the moon close to us. But then I started seeing UFOs, man, and I've definitely seen, even at a young age, 16, 15, 16, 17, 18, I've seen UFOs go to and from the moon. So it's always been, something exciting for me, but I held it off. And then one night outside with my camera, I said, I saw lights again going from the moon, and I said, I love photography. I was a nature photographer. That's what I like doing. But then I transferred, instead of doing macro insects, I turned to the moon, and I started trying to zoom in, right? Trying to get as close as I could. And with my technique, trying to dehaze the surface and get rid of the scattering, the back scattering, as they say, doing pretty good. And don't forget, there's a spiritual calling for me. I feel a connection with whatever is out there without me even knowing. I feel like it's pulling me there, and that, I don't know, it's something I should explore, I guess, because that's how I feel. I feel like exploring the possibilities of another species, and I'm okay with it, even if it's not in the Bible or whatever, or if we were lied to, like some say. I don't know. There's a reason for everything, and I just appreciate getting the chance to maybe see the possibility of it, how huge this is, even though we're not credible people. And when I say that, you and I aren't, on CNN actually bad example. We're not on Fox. We're not much better. But anyways, we're not talking, with our jobs, making $3 million a year in science and stuff like that. So often people won't listen to us. It's surprising to me that people really follow the media like that and stuff. Because in reality, you go on YouTube, it, man. There's a whole bunch of innovative, creative, authentically, spiritually great people doing better jobs than certain researchers right here on YouTube, but they don't get seen. So, like what we're doing here is, it's just a plus for me. Absolutely, because it helps, meet more people. And there's no amount of subs that differentiate you from another channel. I find if you're authentic and you're looking for truth, and you want to share a bit of what I'm doing, like you're doing now, man, hey, hats off. I see it as a positive thing. I wish more people would do it, explore and to venture into the possibilities of what could be out there. And I appreciate a whole bunch of theories. Some of them are, some people don't like touching the theories, but
truthers.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
That's good. You're looking for the truth, Bruce.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. We really all are. I think even the ones, thugs, tough guys, pretend that they're not interested in. No, we're all interested inside somewhere. We all wonder about a God, I think. And I think we all wonder about the other side, God, devils, demons, spirits, ghosts. We fight with that. People go, oh, it's not a ghost. You can't say it's not a ghost. It's a spirit. It's not a spirit. It's a demon. We don't even know. So like God, I don't know what he looks like. What if it's a woman? My mom told me when I was young, I used to always say, Mom, God's a woman. Shit, no, he's not. I said, well, yeah, why not? It's true, So, but in other words, man, we're stuck on whatever we were taught. So we were told that ice freezes. So ice freezes. But if ever one day ice caught on fire, we wouldn't understand it. And ice does catch on fire. So we're stuck on learning certain things. It's like, so we don't venture out further and find out more stuff. We're like babies in the crib. That's how I see us. We're not that free.
You call that moon wave like Crow 777. What is that moon wave that moves slowly across the moon, in your opinion?
Question. Yeah, we were talking about that before, you and I, and exactly. I know Crow is the one that got one of the clearest ones, because you see it's very dense and thick. It looks like physical matter, right? He said, I think he's even the one that mentioned that it was a lunar wave, because it's like a ripple going across the surface. I see it as a rippling wave. Yes, it really is. He said it well. It can't be anything else. But the one I caught wasn't as close. I definitely didn't see it as well. And it's something I only caught 2 of in a matter of, this is the 4th year. I don't know if Crow caught some more or whatever, but what is it though? I have no idea what it is. Science is talking about, and this is recently in the past few weeks, they say it could be protons that are caught. And there it is. With the solar winds going at high excessive speeds, are, compressing and forming a dense line where we could see them with the solar winds. I don't know. Refracting light from particulates, taking a guess. I'm just learning myself now. Particles of light create, like, that's why we see everything like a gray cloud, man. Everything we see a UFO, it's a white cloud. We see a crater or something on the surface, it's a white darn cloud. But that's our eyes that are seeing that, because it's not the real color that's on the surface. We shouldn't be seeing a white surface like that. It's our eyes are giving us back the scattering of the light. The further you look into the depth of field of an image, the more scattering of light they say that we're going to see. So
you've caught a lot of colors on the moon, I've noticed in your videos. And that wave, I guesstimate, probably 4 to 6 months ago, I remember seeing in one of your videos. Yeah, I'm not sure, but
lots of colors, so many colors on the moon.
Why does NASA say we've lost the technology to go back to the moon?
That's very interesting. Absolutely. They said after the 1969 landing, the possibility of going back was lost. And that's a bit crazy. And if you look a bit more in depth on exactly what they meant by that it was lost, apparently they just lost the information. Doesn't that sound crazy? And I also heard that it's because the ones that knew how to go had passed on, and they had not left the information with anyone else. I heard that one too. So you have to wonder, is it real? Is it are they really talking about that? I don't know. But it's interesting.
I've noticed Darla's in the chat. Do you have us some pictures or videos you'd like to show us, Bruce?
Sure, absolutely, man. Last minute, let's see, I have a few here in my pocket. Yeah, we got some good stuff, man. When somebody comes to the research, often they don't get a chance always to see. Can you see anything? Can you see anything right now?
Let me add it to the stream.
Yeah, and if not, let me know, and I'll try to maybe change it. Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
I see it.
So this stream thing is doing very well then. So I went full screen here. Again, with my CGXL, the 1400 Edge telescope, and the Nikon D850. This is the Applebite sinus iridum right here, where China was supposed to land. They actually landed off here of the image to the right. But my goal was to find the surface and the structuring that's on the surface. So we'll get in closer, but looking at it here, you can definitely see that if you want, I can say, I don't know, the moon has the chicken pox, if you want. There's all these pieces that seem to be together. And don't forget, always take into consideration, NASA always showed us the image, man, with a flat surface, only a few rocks. Once in a while, they say there's a big boulder-like rock as big as a car, and you wonder, what's going on when you see all these things. So here, and don't worry, again, we'll go see structures. I'm just going to look at a few of these. This is Eratosthenes. So I got a little throat thing going, man. This is Eratosthenes. It's just at the end of the Apennine Mountains, and you can see inside the crater the spots here. So for some, you may say it doesn't look like much because you're not seeing it further out to see exactly what the crater looks like. But once you get in, that's when it starts getting crazy to see the insides of the crater. But hang on, we're going to go see some good stuff, some more craters, and especially some of the ones that I'm sure Super Dave's going to recognize. Copernicus crater is right here. And under here,
Yes, sir.
yeah, man, under here you can see the line. No matter what it is, there's, I call them energy sources. Why? Because it's a bright light that seems to be letting off some type of a mist. So I call them energy sources. We don't know, clumps of smoke if you want. But the interesting thing is that at the end of this clump of smoke right down here, you could clearly see a line crossing all the way to another bright spot over here that's blinding. Along that, you could see another smaller source. And now let's hear me out. This small source is a mile wide, if you want to know the size. So it's not small, but we're seeing it this small. So yes, the small light source here also has a line connecting to this line that's going by here. Massive objects here that are one over the other that you can see are a blurry view of a beginning of structuring or objects unknown. That's as much as I can say without saying that you can see a Walmart or a Costco. But listen, there's too much here to see and say that it's not constructed. But this is because, look over here, I'm looking at the pipes and lines on the surface. This is the good stuff that I'm trying to find that we often see passing by. And again, the white reflectivity, near impossible to see. We got way better than this. One of my favorites. We should go to it right now, actually.
That's awesome work, Bruce. These structures, what you're showing, man, that looks like a city.
Darn right, man, when you think of it. This is just at the end of Sinus Iridum. I often talk about it. It would be called the Promontorium D, if I'm not mistaken. And right off the bat, when I see this right here, when I see this rectangle that is right over here, okay, so right here is a very interesting corner for me. It gets so crazy because we have a straight line here, an immediate other line here, and then we see a massive bridge or port or something. And I'm telling you, look at the shadow right here. It's this white line is at least hundreds of feet, if not 1,000 feet off the surface. So it's hard for somebody to say, well, it's just a line. No, you could actually see, because of the particles of light, we see the shadowing under structures. But here's where it starts getting mixed up. If you take this off,
be prehistoric.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You see, if it is, oh my goodness, could you imagine? Let's say if there was a cataclysmic event and everyone died, that would mean that everyone or every being right now, imagine they're all right in place in their homes. They died, their bones are all over. I mean, it's probably the biggest archaeological site off of Earth. I believe that digging and looking at the surface. But by staring at it, are you starting to see that the out of place, like this here, is glowing? And you go, okay, it's just glowing. No, it's structuring that's being obscured by light, by refraction of light. So is this one. And then look, it starts over here. Another line and shaft or whatever here that's the same as here. That you see it's massive, massive. So this would be 4 or 5 miles wide, maybe 7, 8 miles long here, just that. Here, 9, 10 miles wide. It's incredible.
Wow.
10 miles wide. Imagine working in a shipyard that's 10 miles wide. Think of it. It's ridiculous.
That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely huge. And again, here we can see, since the shadowing here, shadowing here. We start to see a darker spot coming down, but again, more shadowing here or structuring. And you can see it's structuring. It's not a shadow. It's, and it has a connection. Everything is connected, everything. And it's not ejecta. They say most things, it's just ejecta that was leaked there naturally. And I just don't believe it. We're going to look at the same image, man, but we're going to look at it with not so much of the contrast and exposure taken down. We're going to leave it taken up. And I'm going to deliberately, I know it's cheating, right? I'm going to deliberately put squares up over what I believe are the rectangles. But it's just to show you exactly what I mean are the structuring on the surface. And it really is what we just saw, these objects. The rectangle that we saw with a shaft here that went to the back. So at the back, we didn't see these as clearly, but they're there. And I'm telling you, what happens at night when you're driving and you come up to a stop sign or a construction sign, that bloody sign gets so bright and the refraction of light, because, it's the way, obviously it's not because of, it's through a different meridian. It's because of the surface, the way it is, and the way it's designed, it's made to refract the light, to reflect it. But who says there's not something stupidly that simple on the moon that is hiding these areas? Now, at the beginning, I thought, oh, wow, a real square building. No. What if on this square, there is the city? I mean, that's where the city could be. And I think coming to the understanding, that's exactly what they're doing on the moon, is that they're living and hiding inside of this light, these lights. Or if they're not living there, it's where they're doing the interaction of maybe, shipping and receiving, if you want. They're not just going to land on the moon and start filling up spaceships. Obviously, they'd have without being ridiculously exaggerating, they could have simple ports. They could come in here, 1 ship, 2 ships, 3 ships, 4 ships, and just load up and then leave. There's dockings, you see lines going to them. Maybe he wants to go shopping while he's waiting to get his UFO filled up, or go get a Slurpee over here. People laugh, but in reality, the moon could be just like here on Earth. I mean, if we think of it, and this is just the edge of the image here because I sprawled it out. But again, you see, whoa, all this proof. You say, what the heck's going on here?
Wow, there's some of them colors I was talking about.
Yeah, the purples. It's absolutely incredible. And around Copernicus, you see so many. So this really is Copernicus there. Those are those bumps that are very close by, the craterlets that we rarely see, but when you get close up with the telescope, you see them. But now here's that line that I showed you before. Understand the angle. We were sitting over here, you and I, and we were looking at this line. So now a wider image shows that exactly how far Copernicus was from that line that I'm telling everyone that's there. And again, this line is going to a golf course green type of surface here, which is fascinating me. Don't forget, man, they just found planes of organic material, green planes on Titan. They admitted it, and they said plain. So we're talking miles and miles of this greenery on the surface. And that's, you go, well, how come? Because I don't know if it's because they're just admitting it now, but man, all these celestial objects that have vegetation or greenery or organic material are far out of our galaxy, man, or at the end of our galaxy. But I mean, why wouldn't the moon have
those colors there? Do you think maybe that's spectrum of light, or is that actual color?
Right on. Listen, here you see the purple. This purple here, it's the refracting light. It's making a square right there. Here too, that too, because the surface is very, very colorful. So we're getting back a spectrum of colors. So I would never, ever go to this rectangle here and say, look, we see a square purple, because that would be stupid. It would be ludicrous. And there's orange on the surface here, but yes, you could get refraction of light. a lot of the blues on the edges of the craters, and that's exactly what we could be seeing. Underneath, you see the greens on the surface, and they're really down there. And over top of that, you get refracting light, right? Because don't forget, if there was oxygen, for example, it could be clashing with the oxygen that's higher up. But you brought it up, man, and it's absolutely right. You have to take into consideration that when you're looking at the surface of the moon, you have to make sure it's really a green surface and not just you paused it because now you're getting this green refraction from the olivine on the surface. But absolutely great thing to say. You know what this is, my friend?
I don't have a clue.
Me either. But we're going to call it a UFO. And you know what? And by the way, before I get into that, these spots that you do see there, that I'm happy you brought up, the spots of light, refraction of light, let's call it, because it really could be that. There are also ways of getting rid of it in your image by taking down, not necessarily the contrast, but by adjusting the exposure. So here's this UFO, man. So we have a flash of light that's appearing on the surface suddenly, but the flash lasted almost 3 seconds. So you see this, which is, again, 1.5 miles to 2 miles wide, that lit up. I took a snapshot of it to pause it, and we're not seeing much. We're seeing a white cloud, looks a lot like the surface here, but there is color on the surface all over here. And this object also is very colorful, but our cone cells in our eyes, this is just a basic eye information that if you look up what happens, that's the first thing you're going to start reading about are the cone cells. There's only 2-3 types of cells in your eye. So the cone cells are giving us a cloudy view. There's nothing cloudy. An example, if your neighbor's house blows up, don't want to jinx them. If your neighbor's house blows up and you're outside in the street and you actually witness it, you're not going to see the colors of the yellow and the fire and everything. You're going to see a white light because your cone cells are going to pick that up right away. So this is what's happening with us capturing UFOs on the surface, because we're capturing them with devices. So maybe, if Armstrong, don't know if he went or not, but let's say he did, because he said he did. If he was there, he would have seen this flash of light and probably seen the color being close. Now we're really far out there, so probably did not see the color of that UFO, but hey, that's what it looks like. That's exactly the spots or flashes that are appearing. And no, I don't think it's a meteor, because again, it lasted 3 seconds. It wasn't a sharp blow. It's like it was slowly. So we saw the Promontorium D at the end.
I've seen in many of your videos flashes of light. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead, Brett. Would you say that?
Like I say, I've seen in many of your videos flashes of light. Things moving across the surface. It's untelling what's up there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And often I don't see the flashes of light because I'm not slow enough. So I might have to slow down the image very, very slow, meaning it's boring. So I'll take 5 minutes and I'll slow it down reasonably to about 15 minutes. And while I'm watching that, you're seeing all these lights appear and stuff like that. So now people are saying, well, it's just refraction of light. No, you can tell the difference. It's easy enough to tell the difference. I mean, if you're seeing an actual refraction of light, yes, of course, it happens. You see little specks of light, if you want, that are, even when I'm with the infrared sometimes. But I mean, people are lingering and exaggerating on that. In reality, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, it's not quite the same. People are trying to distort, what I'm trying to show. And, hey, man, here we saw the Promontorium before. Inverted. Well, we're just back at it now. And do you see how it looks a lot more flat? Like you see less of the squares, right? The only reason for that is that the exposure is higher up. It was taken when I took the snapshot. So by descending the exposure around here, where you see I'm going around with the marker right here, that's when we start seeing the dimensions and lines come out. And that haze sort of that's obscuring, making everything look flat, sort of gives us each of those different structures. I mean, it's incredible. You see a line in the back there again. It almost looks like, I don't know, water slides, if you want. That's silly. Like, like water slide tubs where you just slide down. Here's a trampoline. It literally does look like a trampoline. But look what fascinates me, man. This rectangle here is not just a rectangle. You can clearly see it's hooked to the surface. It's not pixelation. But look at the end, how it's standing or veers off here all the way down. Inside, another line going in. There's darkness there. So it really shows us that there was something constructed on the surface. Here in the back, there, I call this the line of toothpaste. Any of you that want to go see a NASA image, type in sinus iridum. Please look at the point of Promontorium, and I promise and swear to you all, you will see this line of toothpaste, and it will be as long as the arrow right here. This whole line of toothpaste will be as wide as the arrow. So this is what's hard for people to say. It's hard for people to find NASA photos with what I'm seeing because they don't have the same perspective. They're not magnified enough. They're not close enough. This is pretty close. Honestly, very, very close. We can only see a quarter of sinus iridum. And guys, sinus iridum is over 400 kilometers there. Way over 400 kilometers. So, but this is just an amazing one. And I don't know if you're like me, but when I look at this, man, I say, yeah, it totally makes sense that bases would just be like that. This plate that looks so thin to us could be 1,000 feet high. So you could be looking at, imagine a trade center this wide. Imagine the staggering size of it. Because don't forget, the moon is being squished down. So these objects are looking like they're lying down. They could be this much higher. They could be way up here, and we could be looking at so much higher elevation as compared to what our eyes or what that's giving us, It's incredible. Just quickly, it's not the moon, but this is another flash. It's beside Mars, man. Doesn't it suck, man? It's hard.
That's cool, man. I like stuff like that. I've always been interested in astronomy. I watch science channels about the universe and, about the planets. What is that?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Join in, man. Tell me more about your thoughts too. Because and thanks. I appreciate it. This is Mars. And look over top, you see, and I'm the same as you, man. I'm so interested. I mean, we're looking at something that we don't know what it is. And for some people, if they don't know what they're looking at, it's not an interest to them. Me, it interests me more the fact that I don't know what we're looking at. And don't forget, we have space agencies telling us these things don't exist. Well, actually, they're changing their mind now. But yeah, this is Mars. It's in 218, flashing light beside planet Mars. And I get a lot of people saying, well, Bruce, it doesn't mean it's beside Mars. Okay, I'm totally open with that. But I'm going to tell you something. Because I am focally zoomed onto Mars, yes, this is close to Mars or zoomed very far out. Because if I was zoomed out, Mars would be this size, right? And we wouldn't see the flash of light. Think of it. If Mars was this size, we would see a tiny, tiny flash. We wouldn't see it. And this is slow motion, so I was able to capture it, imagine. So it's really never easy finding stuff. So people say, oh, this guy finds stuff every day. No. I'm looking every day, but I don't necessarily find stuff every day.
The last image you just showed us, we can't tell really if that's a UFO or if it's a planetary body.
Well, exactly. But I don't know if you noticed, like if we go back, yeah, exactly. So that one right there is Mars. Hold on. I'll just bring it back up if you don't mind.
I'm sorry.
You okay, my man?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. This is beside Mars, like you said. I don't know what you can see, but I really see a sort of a shape, eh? It's sort of like elongated a little bit more than a planet would be. So I don't know. So I was like, Could it be a set? But then again, like I said, we could be seeing it square because it's so bloody far. Everything we see in a distance is round. That's for sure. Everything we see is round. And then when you start zooming into it, you go, whoops, it starts getting a different shape. So it's hard, everything looks like a star, right? We all say, hey, there's a star. Well, it doesn't mean it is a star. And look at this, bud.
Wow.
You see a little bit of pixelation here. Forgive me. You see some gray. I should have brought the exposure down a bit, but it doesn't usually do that. So here, it's just a UFO. When I say UFO, it could be also just a flash of light or explosion on the surface. But here's the thing. This mother lit up, and then this came from this light. So I really don't know what to call them. Are they UFOs propelling, firing, shooting on the surface? Or is it just, again, like we're talking about the lunar wave, is it something natural phenomenon? I'm not trying to bribe anyone, but it's just, I would think more that it was a UFO as to it being not a UFO, really. I don't know. It depends on the person, right? I don't know when you think of it. But
that's right. I've heard, and I can tell your pictures and your videos are 100% genuine. I can see it with my own eyes. And I know there's other channels said you doctor your videos and your pictures.
Yeah.
It's common sense, buddy. I can see clearly that these are 100% authentic.
I appreciate it, man. And it's like, you know why we can tell they're authentic? Because they're not perfect. Because we can't see the whole surface. If I would get there and said, see, look, I told you all the buildings are there. We see Jeeps and bases and a whole bunch of flags. I don't know. I'm not saying that when somebody does one day, it's going to be a lie, but I mean, this is not easy, seeing a surface of a planet. And obviously, the surface for us here from Earth, I believe that the surface we're seeing could just be the top layer of clouds, for Pete's sakes, meaning we're just starting to beam into the atmosphere under what I like using, the veil. There's a veil. What is it? Is it a magnetic force field around the moon? I don't know, but there is a veil. There's something that's obscuring the surface. I mean, the only fogs and gases we have on Earth like that would be clouds, right? Seems to me. But then again, if there's a different atmosphere on the moon, what would be the state of water? The water on the moon could be gases, could be vapors. Who knows? If you see Avenir Quebec Astronomy, that's my French channel, man. So I show them too a lot of stuff to try to get close. But yeah, man, this is exceptional. Before I leave, this is the inside.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, man, it's the inside of a crater. And get this, we could see on the surface of the crater all these lines. And I'm telling you, these craters, even NASA says they are flat, that there's no elevation on the surface. And I guarantee you, this piece here is not as big as a car. It's 2 miles wide, if not 3 miles wide. So, wow, what are all these objects? I think this crater, man, is the smallest one that I magnify the closest, because I think this one's only about 38 kilometers. So on 38 kilometers on the ground, I don't know if you know it, there is a heck of a lot of winding road-like objects. No, maybe I wouldn't say that they're roads, but why not? They could also be overpasses. It depends how your eye is seeing the surface, but I really see that these lines here could also be, theoretically speaking, sure, they could be bridges or overpasses. I'm pretty sure a big bridge here on Earth from the moon could look like that for sure. I don't know, California, Golden Gate Bridge, who knows? I don't know. But that's the problem, is that we can't get off of this globe. Not us anyways. And most of us
Have you been able to document any of the ice that NASA has claimed they have discovered on the moon?
That's really interesting that you say that. Hey, I'm going to take a chance. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this image. Probably you might have too much light. Can you can see the desktop, but can you also see me?
Yes, I see you.
All right.
The audience can't see you.
No, okay. No, because I had a picture. No, I'll do it a different way.
I'll fix it where they can.
Yeah, it's up to you, man. I don't know if you're going to see it very well. If you don't see it, probably not many will see it. But I mean, this is Tycho crater, and along the Terminator line, there are the structures, man. What people are calling snow and stuff are those white structures, but you probably won't see it, right? In the image, I guess.
I see it. I see it on top.
Yeah, well, those little things there, they're really structural, and they're high and elevated off the surface. Like, hey, man, look at this one. I'm making you jump around, eh? Jump around.
It's all good, man. I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, I see that. And, at the same time, I think I'm going to have to steal that program for Christmas because what I want to do, man, is during live stream, I want to be able. I want to do like this. I want to be able to show images, but it'd be pretty cool having the people on the sidelines commenting at the same time, like you're doing right now. It's man, this video is going to rock. Not just because I'm in it, you know that. Not
just because you are in it.
No, well, it's the idea that it's interesting what you're wanting to know and what you're looking at. Man, I don't know how well you can see this image, but I'm telling you, okay, right here.
I see it. It's frosty looking.
Oh, is it? Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, exactly. Like, for example, if this was snow, we'd never know it because it's, refracting light. But again, if there is refracting light would occur because of snow also. We could look at it that way. But they said there's snow on both poles. They say North Pole and the South Pole. That tells us that we're in an interglacial period of the Ice Age also. Just learned that too. Why? Because they say that if the two poles have ice, that we're in that thawing period. Mars has ice on both poles, so they say. How well can you see the bottom here where I'm getting the circle up there?
Yeah, I see shadow, like a dark area.
Oh, yeah, maybe you won't even see it, but because I'm looking on this big screen. But in here, you see all these.
Kind of like what we would call frequencies in the clouds, like a ripple.
Okay, well, see, I don't see. Well, I'm like, this is on the surface. You can see all these structures right there. I don't know. So I guess maybe you can't see it very well then. But in the hole, in the dark, where you see all this spaghetti stuff there, this is stuff on the surface. All these lines that you're seeing are there on the surface. It's not like all this isn't just clouds because I'm sort of not looking at stuff. It's the surface. So here we have a crevice, a mean deep crevice that goes down. But while you're going up here, you have all these, a light source there, bright spot, But
yeah, I see it when you point it out.
Yeah, well, that's it, eh? Like even here, for me, it's incredible. This is just too much for me. This massive line that goes here and curbs. If you start looking with the magnifying lens, you realize that, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's lines coming down all across, but they're so hard to see because they're like see-through. They're transparent. It looks like a plastic straw on the surface that you're trying to see on top of a white paper. It's near impossible to see. But those, when you
I could see like the moon has valleys and mountains, craters, where the ridges of the craters around it, it would be like probably several thousand feet in the air to get over that ridge.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. Like here, for example, here's at least 2,000-3,000 feet off the surface, but we see this on. Now, I'm deliberately showing you these images as unpleasant to the eye they are. The reason why they're unpleasant is because they have all these Star Wars, I don't know, blinding reflective light, like it was this pearl, you know, on the surface, which is so ridiculous. But you have to look at these areas. So here we were talking about elevation of thousands of feet here. And we have a connection here with this massive object going to another side with like a boulder, supposed boulder there. But that fascinates me. You say, why are they there? And here, again, the levels that we see. But here, this is the only reason why I showed this image. I've showed it better. This is not the inverted one. You'd have to probably even back up. There's a line here that goes all the way. I know it's thin, but you follow where I'm going. It's there. And it goes here and continues across. So everything that's on the surface is connected by these bloody lines that are going to, there's another bridge-like object right there, connecting, going up, and they're everywhere. Every time you see a crevice, you know, and we'll do this more often too, because we're going to see, I'll have time to get amazing videos. Oh, yeah, that we saw that one. I want to show you, hang on. It's running away from why is it doing that? It's running away from me. There we go. I think it's, yeah, this is also some interesting ones. This is, hey, man, check it out. We're beside Sirius. Seriously beside Sirius. 1, 2, 3, and a line of center. This whole object flew by. Was going from north to south. So north is here to south here, so not far in that vicinity. It was going this way. And it's going by Sirius, and you see 3 spots of light with a larger light in the center. These are just
I do.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I see them. What is this brighter image here to the sort of in the middle there to the right a little bit?
This here?
The biggest image in there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is Sirius. So we're talking about Sirius star system, the star Sirius. It's a binary system, if I'm not mistaken, a system that consists of several celestial objects. And
wow,
a couple of light years out from here. And is it Arcturus or Sirius? Yeah, Sirius. So that's the one that it looks like it's always reflecting so much light. I've shown it before. It's a beautiful, beautiful star. But this is not supposed to be there. And it went by in a flash. I posted it one of the videos. It's just a snapshot I appreciate because, I mean, holy smokes. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 objects, or we're looking at one object, which honestly, it fascinated me seeing these 3 lights because the TR3B, confirmed TR3B, has the fire in this way that we can see that way. I don't know about the center though, but I mean, you know, this is totally intriguing here. Did that one?
Yes,
that
it
one?
is.
Yeah, very intriguing. That one we saw. Some more good ones here, I'm sure. A couple more for sure. Wow. Okay. So don't worry about the OVNI Quebec Astronomy. That's my other channel. It's still by Monsieur Bruce Swartz. And this is this surface of Clavius crater. But we're going to zoom into the spots. That's where we are inside of Clavius crater. If you don't know exactly which one Clavius crater is, it's the one where we see on top of it, the crater goes from a bigger crater to a smaller one, to a smaller one, to a smaller one. So it's a large crater with about 4 or 5 craters that are on top of it. In the center, we could see nothing, right? Obstruction again, but why the white reflection again? Covers or whatever they may be, it's hiding all of this. All this on the surface are objects that they're not talking about. And you say, well, wait a minute, what are the objects? You know, whether they be,
right,
you know, construction or not, you're not sure. Here's just with a pink filter. It's actually, it's not true. It's not a pink filter. It's just a negative image. Like in the olden days, I took the image and I transferred the surface of the moon into a negative image and pretty exceptional. I don't know if you could see the grillage, if you understand what I mean by grillage, like here, this just strikes me where you can see a square here, you know, like this would be 4 or 5 miles. So of course, for some, it's like, it's a smudge. No, it's not a smudge. It's that we're looking at symmetry or construction on a scale of maybe 5 or 6 miles when you look at that. And here I showed this.
Yes, sir. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's the elevation here of sinus irritant, the apple bite that we usually see there. And let's see how.
See like a slope on the other side there of that.
What'd you say, brother?
You can see like a slope, you know, on the back side there of it, like it's going down.
Exactly, and that's why I always try to show the elevation, which is never easy. This is not. I'm telling you, it's not for everyone, but I want to show you. This is Copernicus crater. You could, through the clouds, you could see the rim, just the beginning and the bottom of the rim. I deliberately stuck it in so that people would know where this was. Now, it might take your eyes a couple of minutes, but we'll talk about these two spots here, the black spot and this spot. But before that, do you see something right here? Sort of like
an L shape.
Yeah, exactly. But you see here in the center, there's something high elevated off the surface, and you don't know what it is, and neither do I. But look at this black line right here, straight line that's going back, and that goes to Copernicus. So these setups that they have around these craters, whatever they may be, could very well be construction too. Look at the covers. I call them covers. This bloody light that has an edge, where you see the bright lights, it has an edge to it. You know, it's going around here. It turns off here. And then it goes like that. You don't know what it is. And there's this bright spot. Even though it's black, it's a bright spot. And why isn't this black like this black and this darkness and like in here? It's like it's
dark. Is it a deep hole? I mean,
yeah, exactly. And your guess is as good as mine, right? Because it could be anything. But when you see it like that, you go, why is there a black substance or spot on the surface that seems to be very, very bright? And we see that a lot on the surface. Whether they're hiding something underneath it, that I don't know. But you wonder, you say, what the heck, you know? Jumping off here and there, but we didn't just stick on the moon. I hope you didn't mind, man. This is Jupiter right here. Big, blinding, ugly Jupiter that we can't see anything. These are 3 Galilean moons here that we can see Ganymede, being Ganymede not far from there. 1, 2, and 3 with Jupiter here. But look what we have here. This flew by. I actually showed the live video, but I paused it. So we see a speck of light here. We see a speck of light here around Jupiter, and this was flying by at high speeds. So I have all
let's see that.
Yep. I have all these captures, and people are like, well, so what? Like, what are they? We don't know what they are. But we know one thing. The government says that these things are not flying by around Jupiter, but they are. Okay?
Are they asteroids?
See, that's what I believe. It could be asteroids, meteors. It could be a whole slew, absolutely, of a whole bunch of things. That's for sure.
As far as we know, there could be aliens inhabiting the space and moving about. I mean, we really don't know.
Absolutely. Well, I believe that too. Here's me sticking out my tongue at the aliens saying I'm going to catch you when I had just got my telescope, man. I just pulled it out of the box. I think I had wiped my tears off before opening the box. I was ecstatic when I got that. The community was so bloody excited.
I saw you in your videos when you unboxed it. You said you needed help to set it up.
Dang right, man. It was heavy. Exactly. Yeah, you were there since the beginning, man. And it was so heavy. I didn't have the tricks, the good ways to, to be able to put it up and sit it on top of the bloody stand. But I got it right after all. And let's do a little test here. I think that one there. This is the one you wanted. I know I'm going to try to read your mind. And of course, you don't need any volume here. And don't worry about the copyright strikes, my man. I'm here. I'm giving you permission. I'm not showing the beginning there of my intro. I'm just going to show.
Yeah, there's more structured there.
Yeah. And this is in, sorry, this is, we'll just play it, for example. This is in east of Bianchini Crater. So even though we don't know what they are, we can see that what was a supposed patch are all these little objects and bumps. Straight line here is 40 kilometers. If you want to get an idea how big we're looking at, this is 40 to 43 kilometers that I've showed before, but that's nothing. See, okay, I'm deliberately going to stop here because I want to talk to you about what we're looking at here. Do you see the pixelation? And it just went ahead, didn't it? There we go. Pause that right there. You see the pixelation on the bottom right here? Where
I do.
Yeah, okay. Well, a lot of people say that, I try often to pass off to people that, these edges and stuff are caused by this pixelation because, yeah, it'll make straight lines. But you see how the lines are running straight. So in other words, the surface has a straight edge here, but over top of it, we're seeing a lot of pixelation here. And I want people to understand that this pixelation is not these that we see here. Yes, this is all pixelated. The whole bottom scrapped. I get it. But here, we're looking at the surface objects and what's there. The little edges there have straight lines. Okay, well, it's pixelation. The straight lines that we see here, I wouldn't tell people they're pipes because we could see it's pixelation a little bit. But it's not easy seeing the surface. So some images, sometimes we could see maybe certain pixelation. So yeah, abracadabra. Let's do this here, little fun part that I like here. We're going to invert it so our eyes see the same image. Pow. So what the F? Yes. So now what we're looking at is these were the structures you just saw. Now in the white, we don't see them anymore. But look at that. The incredible 90 degrees and everything. And these are the structures in the dark that we're seeing. Again, the pixelation that's over top of it, even when inverted, we could see that underneath there's the bumps, and you look at that, the massive entries or whatever. So, people can very easily say it's not a pixelated image. You can see the difference. This is pixelation. I wouldn't dare come here. I wouldn't come here and say, oh my God, look, a square building. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is pixelation. But this sure as hell isn't. And we can see it. There's differences here too, all along Bianchini, But what else? There we go. Love it.
Wow, man. You do incredible work, Bruce.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for appreciating it, especially, man. So we're looking at the same area. Oh, yeah, that's interesting right here. This is important as that much little detail. Right here, this arrow is pointing to a thin line that is going here and a thin line going here. Probably can hardly even see it, but I'm making people understand that these little lines are running over the surface, what's there, because a pixelated image are things coming out. A pixelation is a cover that's over top of an image, and it pixelates the image. These are not pixelation. These are rows and levels and planes of who knows. It could be insulated, objects, or who knows what it could be. Sorry. It could be, insulated structuring. A lot of people say, there we can see it. I don't know if you see it here. I see a little winding S there that goes up. It's hard to see the elevation, but this is actually going down and this going down too. And, it's pretty incredible seeing it that way. Here, you could see, whoa, these are signs that really, I get so excited when I see it. Or like this, looks almost like a Nazi sign here. These are really wall-like objects or structuring on the surface. Here, the connection, because of course, there's a gap here. We see it, the surface is rising up here. So here, that little slit that you see there is to get up to the surface. Again, it doesn't look like much. Whoop, where did I go? There we go, I'm back. It doesn't look like much from certain areas. Look at this here. No filtering. This here is the edge of the photo. So everything here is nada, nothing. So we're looking here. Look at that, man. 1, 2, and still you see a bit of pixelation. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking underneath here too. You can see it, a bit of the pixelation. I'm not going to throw these images away because what's interesting me are these underneath, all these lines and signs of objects that are there. And look at that. So all these gray patches that we're stuck looking at everywhere, always gray patches, I came to the understanding maybe those are the smaller structures because we can't see them. And when you see these little bends, it could be. And it's just signs of the surface, There's the promontorium that we saw at the very beginning, the rectangles, the trampoline, the am I going to say it? The trampoline off, I'm not saying it, the diving board, if you want, I mean, as a shape, just so that you understand what I'm talking about. It's this rectangle. I'm a musician. It looks like a piano key. Can you see it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, underneath that, there's another piano key, but it goes this way. Because there's a lot of obstruction around it, like all the haze and smoke here, it sort of looks blotchy and blending and everything like that, but it's not. We see gaps and crevices. They're going downwards here. This spirals downwards there. And the lower level, there's another level that goes down to another level here. It's all there. Inside of this, I could almost say piano or bloody swimming pool. You can see that's cut out. There's something inside. We don't know what it is. Doesn't matter. It's still something that's inside. Look at that. At the end of the promontorium, if that's an entrance, well, then think of it. They go in here, they go down there, they go through the toothpaste slide here, which is crazy when you look at it. What?
Man.
People look at that, bro, and they tell me that I made it up. Because honestly, you know what I answer them? Thank you for understanding the surface of the moon. It's made up. Yes, it's made up. It's made up of all these stupid, amusement park slides or whatever. That's, who knows what it is. We're used to seeing dirt here. We have pavement. Who says they don't have another substance? It's probably that white reflective substance that they could be looking at. So in here in the center, we see a lot going on. Because of the center that I am unsure, they're not as big as this structured mountain. I don't talk about anything here. We see bumps, lines, and everything, but I'm not necessarily saying that this is a symmetrical overpass or Walmart connected to a fountain. It could be jumbled up crap, but I'm sorry, the mountain, 800 kilometers, yeah, we could see it very well. Even further out, we could see that these are objects that are out of place. They look constructed. They shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be seeing them that way. A mountain, this should not be there, that edge. This should not be there. We should
Where
see
your cursor is, I can definitely tell there's height, coming off the surface and, hundreds of feet up.
Yep, here and here. Yep, we see different. So if I was to guess, I would say this is under the clouds and this is towering, but this is even higher and this is the highest level. So from here to here, we would have 1,000 or hundreds of feet difference. But we're not seeing that difference there, like you say, because, of course, a whole bunch of reasons. Here, man, this is Bianchini, by the way. Bianchini crater, the city that I always talk about that we just saw, is over here there, and this is Bianchini. So where we are is just at the end of, I like calling it the apple bite. And look at this massive line and that massive line. Almost looks like a cigarette, if you want, with the dark end there, just a line. But again, a shadow, and it's on this plate like uneven. Okay. I'm not saying that everything is perfectly square, man. Like this here, okay, it's crooked. We have constructed objects here that are crooked. We have to build certain things here on Earth, that follow the surface, not because for the beauty, but because we have to. Like, for example, if this was a shaft going into the ground of the moon, well, of course, they're going to make it a certain way. It's going to have to be constructed a certain way. We would see arms and everything on these things. I mean, it's incredible, the possibilities of exactly, what we could be on there. So here, Bianchini, I'm going to back up because I just showed you Bianchini was there. So this here, zooming into this crater, is what will look like this right here. There's Bianchini crater that we see here. So, you see a bit of around what's going on. We can see a lot of the elevation here, a lot of darkness. So it's coming down here and you say, wow, what the heck is going on? This is just my name right here, Bruce, that we can see here edging off. That's not structuring here. This is a U here, by the way, there, UCE on the bottom. But yeah, look at that. There's that one that I talked about even to John Lear way back. He had appreciated that one because he wondered what the heck it was. And again, I'm not hiding anything. Here's Bianchini, and this is 20 kilometers away. It's right there. And
you spoke to John Lear?
Yeah, John Lear used to speak about my work, actually. Had a lot of problems with him. I'm not going to get into it to ruin your video, but yeah, he tried to locate my address, man. And this guy's a retired CIA agent. A lot of weird things went on with a bunch of other channels. So I sort of stayed away from him. But he talks about my work. I think he still does. He was very interested. See, this guy wanted to know how I was getting this. He still does. Everybody wants to know how I'm doing it. And I want people to understand that the reason why it is a bit blurry is because I'm not manipulating it. Magnification of an image, you're going to get a lot of blur. You're going to get, more obscure of a view, obviously, because you're zooming into an image. But when we do zoom into an image, even though it gets obscured, often it shows us areas that reveals things. So this is why this image is cut out, because the rest around this image is destroyed because we're too close. It's too blurry. We can't see a lot of stuff, but we use little sections in the image that, just like this Bianchini crater, and you just see some exceptional detail. I mean, it's Bianchini crater. I never see anyone that show this crater close up. So, I try to get in as close as I can to show it, and just simply for appreciating it. That's about it.
I can definitely tell this is your work, Bruce. How are you getting this? It's your own research, buddy. You got these telescopes, you're doing your own thing, and it's awesome, man. You're doing your own thing, and this is your real work.
Yeah, and you can ask. It's that people aren't asking; they're assuming. Oh, he's filming the screen. Someone told me in the community the other day, Bruce, just film your screen, put it side by side, and do what the trolls want you to do. Film the screen, and we'll see the difference. Not going to be a difference. They're going to see a camera looking at a screen, filming a television. I don't know. This is a square crater.
Wow, that's beautiful there.
Yeah, and when I say square, well, obviously you understand there's a 90-degree angle. We're not looking at a perfect square box of a pizza, but the square shape of it all, there's a lot of overlapping edges on these craters. So if you're to chisel around or maybe to go inside of these craters, maybe they would be a lot squarer than we think. Like you said, what if these are pits, man? What if it's just a dark square, a hole that's a pit that goes right through to the dark side or something? I don't know, or goes deep in the ground. Who knows? They could be anything at all. And you could see that, again, all that color that you like. So like you mentioned, my friend Super Dave 44, They're talking about the refraction of light around the craters. Could some of this be refraction of light? Absolutely. Here, the blues and stuff, we would be seeing it because honestly, there's the surface color. It's probably green or gray. And the green, we're going to see it as black because it's just too dark here. And this is one of my favorite craters to go see. But let me tell you, you just don't see that bloody crater. And don't ask me the name. Sadly, I don't even know. I know where it is, and I'll get the name, but I don't know which name it is. But I bet some of you even recognize this crater, even though we are close up. It's where I said there's the boat in it. You must have heard of that, Super Dave, about a spaceship supposedly hiding in some crater somewhere where you could see only the nose. And someone at one point talked about this area as being an ark. You could see Noah's Ark in the crater. But it's interesting when you think of it, because I sort of do see the little boat shape that they're trying to talk about that's in the center. And, well, if we depend on what science says, well, these would be impacts, right? This would be meteors that would have impacted the interior. Think of what I'm saying. We would supposedly be looking at, so long science, impact craters that are inside a huge impact crater. I mean, I don't know. How the heck, man, could all these craters be there? And how the heck could there be all these little craterlets beside there? I mean, honestly, was the moon here for like 600 trillion years or what? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's riddled. It looked like World War III happened 30 times on the moon to see all these bumps and everything. And if it's just a dust ball of dust and stuff, I don't get it. How there could be so much detail on the surface and elevation of so many things. Here's maybe an interesting one, because you said you appreciated the color on the surface. I mean, listen, we have no idea what we're looking at, but I know for a fact this light source, no matter what it may be, who's to say to me that that's not a nuclear plant on the bloody surface of the moon, and that these red gases and hazes are just not poisons and gases on the surface? Refraction of light, sure, refraction of light. Refraction of light comes from a colorful surface. So if we're seeing refraction of light, it's because we're looking at a colorful moon. There's not going to be any refracting color whatsoever on a gray moon. if the
That's
Earth,
very interesting right there.
yeah, exactly, and it would not be gray. The moon, if the moon was gray, we wouldn't be getting all of these ridiculously bright reflective colors. You're not going to tell me the whole moon's filled with olivine. Come on. Is all of Earth filled with gold? No. I don't think olivine is all over the surface of the moon. And I'm pretty sure, you know what the funny part of that is, man? You got some people saying that olivine is green, and that's all I'm looking at. Well, I don't mean to bust their bubble, but I did do the research very recently. And did you know that they say that olivine on the moon is brown? So the people that are saying that we're looking at green surface of olivine, it's not. It's the color of the rock buildings in Afghanistan, the walls that the terrorists build. That's exactly the color of the sandstone. That's the color on the surface. Olivine on the surface of the moon isn't green at all. And depending on which celestial object it is, even here on Earth, there's olivine on Earth, it's not the same color. I think here it's green. I'm not sure if on the moon is green, because that's what people do. They take pictures of olivine from Earth, which looks like a bloody emerald or a moldavite, right? And they say that it's green. So people try to steal little bits of information to, like, for example, someone's, researching, everything's beautiful, but you get to the end and he needs a plot, he needs to prove it. So people start integrating these. Theory is not a lie. If you have a theory, it's always good because it's theory. You can have crazy theories. It's not misinformation. It's not a lie. I can believe one thing that maybe defies the laws of physics or gravity. Okay, but it's my belief. I'll say it that way. I'll say, I know it sounds crazy, but I believe that is that. But I won't say that NASA confirmed that that is that, and so said that because I had supper with them and I know it. If you'd listen to most of the astronomy channels, you'd think that they were all working for NASA. Honestly,
that's what science is. It's ever changing. There's never a solid answer. We're always trying to figure science out.
That's right. What you just said. That's very important. What you just said, because I believe it's theory. Science is theory, and it's forever changing and expanding. So science is like the universe. The universe, they say it's always expanding. Well, so is science, but they're never sure. Even when they made the nuclear bomb, boy, they were wrong about that. They exploded a couple more extra. They exploded way too large for what they thought they would have done because they're just speculatively using Einstein's theory of relativity that 20 years down the road, people are saying, he was wrong. So, was he wrong? Was he right? I don't know. He was smarter than me. So hats off to him. Southern Highlands, we're looking at Clavius Crater, the surface color and objects structuring, natural or not, on the surface. Little lines that are intriguing me that we often see pop up right there and right there. But again, the purples. We see purples, we see greens. How much of this is refracting light? There could be some. I definitely sure there could be some. But here, we're looking at a green surface. So then we get to the purples here. Well, don't forget, man, it could be the atmosphere also, because the refracting light will show us purple refracting light, meaning there is oxygen. There's certain things that can be read also in the refracting light. But this is an amazing one of Clavius Crater. To give you an idea how bloody close we are, well, say to yourself, you can't see either side of Clavius Crater. It's because we're close. We're just spread smack dab in the center.
There's a question in the chat. Can I ask you this question?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Hodgepodge asks, what is Bruce's theory on 2019 moon into the Earth's atmosphere?
The 2019 moon into you'd have to be a bit more.
It's a theory on the moon that moved into the Earth's atmosphere.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Well, that's another one. Thanks for asking, by the way. You can tell them thank you, or if you can see me, thanks a lot, man, for asking. I think that I don't know what to think of that, but I think it's a plausible theory that the moon was brought there either naturally or a spaceship. I've heard many theories, but as for the moon arriving to Earth, in other words, was the moon elsewhere? I think it could be possible that it did happen. Some people even say that, this is pushing it a little bit, some people even say that the moon and the Earth were one and that they would have smashed in together. Those are other theories I hear, but how could it have gotten here? That's what I'm not sure of. Could it be a shift? It doesn't make any sense that the moon would be there, because so long science, it would not be locked in place. So we'd have to, I could guess, that maybe it's a spaceship. It sounds a little silly, but it would be more plausible somebody having built something and putting it there than having it float there. Doesn't make any sense.
When we think of a satellite, we think of something they put in space and it beams signals down. Why do they call the moon a satellite?
That you're like me for that. That's always interested me, and to the point that maybe because the moon could be a big communications device, right? And we're just theorizing here. We're speculating. Could it be a center where the craters are actual radio telescopes or satellites in the ground, hidden? Maybe a lot of people speculate that the moon is a center. Trading center for experiments of other species all around the galaxy, that they would come and reunite here beside Earth. Why, though? That's the thing you got to wonder. Why the heck would they? That I don't know. But it sure is interesting. I have no idea. What do you think? What do you think about the moon Do you think it could be possible as a theory that, that it was a spaceship and that it's actually doing things right now, but it's that we don't notice that it's a spaceship?
I don't
hard.
have a clue, Bruce. I
Yeah,
don't have a clue. I've heard theories that the moon is hollow. I mean,
yeah,
I hear theories that the moon was broken rocks from the solar system and it got locked in on our gravity. I mean, like you say, theories. I mean, you don't know. Theories are not real answers, but it's a theory.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, when you think of it, that's what I do, is that I appreciate all the theories, but I don't confirm one and I don't stick to any. And I just keep looking for stuff on the surface. I try not to get too carried away on a theory that I fancy, because I think we often tend to do that as humans when we hear a story that we love or we believe something in our hearts. Often we'll just believe that all of our lives just because it's something beautiful. Sometimes people believe certain things, but I'm really remaining skeptical about what could be out there. And I'm pretty sure, man, that it would be deliberately the opposite of what we would think. I'm expecting that what we think is up there would be the total opposite. That's how secretive it could be. Sure, there's aliens up there, but maybe they're not living there. Maybe it's not at all what we think. Maybe, no, they're not trading. Maybe they're actually, who knows, even at times it can even get scary sometimes, you got to wonder, you say, it could get pretty scary too,
Can I ask you one or two more quick questions?
Yeah, sounds good, man. Go right ahead, with pleasure.
Do you believe China went to the moon, on the other side of the moon, and are they trying to inhabit the moon? What do you think?
That's, again, great questioning, man. Great questions that you're asking me. Listen, I think that there's a possibility they could have landed a rover, but when it comes to them actually landing, like in '69 and stuff, I'm still very skeptical, but that's because of what I saw. I saw too many videos and proof that they really did not go. Again, just my belief. And we're talking about '69 landing. But now not Mars, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of China because they're going to Mars, they say, with the Mars rover. But China, if they landed, I mean, could they not have, man? Could they not have, landed something on the moon and it's stuck there now? It's not moving around and maybe has an image or a camera. I really don't know. I think it's plausible. I think it could be plausible. But then I saw the images. And when I saw the images of what they showed, well, now I believe that, hey, maybe they could have gone, but that they're not going to show us the images. Because I did not appreciate China's space images that had the traits of NASA's space photos, meaning the metadata in it was gray. You couldn't see any mountains. It's like they made the rover drive around and get rid of anything that was in the way and just get a little picture of some gray corner, I mean, for all we know, could these guys be in the bloody desert in Nevada? We're looking at black and white image of no rocks, nothing at all. They're not telling us, what they're doing. They're sending us back diagrams saying, oh, look, they went here, they went up there, and then they went to this plane, and then they went to that plane. I don't know. The guys or gals that are paying, or guys and gals that are paying for all these private funds, or whatever, secret projects, I hope they're getting something back. I hope they're actually seeing that there's something out there, or that they're seeing the surface. You wonder, it's scary. Are they deliberately making people pay into this so that they're showing people, look, there's nothing out there, but that they're keeping the mischievous plans or whatever they're doing it, under the table, if you want, not showing other people. Do elites even exist in the world? We don't know, do they exist? Is there really an elite ruler group of people with a bloodline? If there is, well, you can be sure as heck. So long me, they'd be on a moon. They would.
The skies above said he believes the moon is inhabited. Um, let me ask you this question. I asked you this a couple months ago in your chat.
Man.
Have you seen any signs of the moon shrinking?
Oh, that's interesting. And somebody asked me that also the other day. Well, I'll tell you what. I haven't noticed yet any signs whatsoever, but it's something I'm going to be able to. Now that you mention that, though, like I'm going to have to start looking back in the footage. I believe if there was shrinking, we would be able to see something. Now, I'm curious as to why he was asking that. So I'm going to try to hit the nail on the head here, because if not, it sure is interesting to think of ice sheets, right? I don't know if that was his intention of asking the question, but if there was actual ice on the surface of the moon that was actually melting on the surface of the moon, we would be able to see the ice sheet melting. So that means there could be a big spot in one area, and we could see a new, smaller spot start accumulating beside a larger area. We would be able to know if it's flowing ice, because even the picture that we're looking at right here, my man, I'm telling you, it doesn't look like much, but you're looking at three different tints of color. You're looking at the white, you're looking at the off-white gray, you're looking at a green, and you're looking at a thick green. And these are jumbled up objects on the surface that could be ice. So this question is amazing, because here's the interesting thing. If all this was to melt, for example, in a year, and I went back and we saw all these lines shifting, my goodness, that would tell us so much just with a regular telescope, well, a good regular telescope, what's up there. But that's a good question. I haven't seen any signs necessarily of it shrinking, but let me tell you, I'm infatuated with the fact that the moon's always different, man. It's never the same. Why is Clavius Crater that different every time I go back? Not the size, but the surface. It's either really cloudy or it's super clear, you know? So it has to be some gas or smoke on the surface going around. Is it just a different wavelength that's stopping us from seeing it? I don't know, but thanks a lot for the question, though, man.
Yes, sir. Do you have any more pictures you want to show us, Bruce? I hear your voice cracking there, buddy.
Yeah, you're thinking of me, man. No, we did good, though. Yeah, my voice is getting there. But here, just quickly. This is, hey, man, we're going to have to do this again, by the way. Right? Watch
Thank you.
Let's just double check. No, this is fun, man. This is why I'm here, Dave. This is exactly what I want to do, is to connect with people just like you and to share my thoughts and my work. And holy smokes, that was amazing that you did the hell of a good job, man. You got your community all hooked up. I mean, listen, you're better than me, man. I'm not even there yet with all this stuff. It's a lot of work. And didn't you just throw yourself into this without, I mean, everybody, Super Dave, okay, I went into email at 6:57, right before 7 o'clock, and he says, let's go. We went into it. He said, we'll do this, this, this. I said, yeah, let's do it. And what you guys just saw was 3 minutes of conversation with him and I. So there's definitely going to be some nice videos we're going to be able to do. A couple more before we leave. Check it out. The blues here. So this there could be some oxygen, because the image that you're seeing, it could be in the sky, in the air. It could be the refraction of light, but I don't know, you know, seeing all these little lines almost look like even rivers. Wouldn't dare assume it was, but because obviously it's not water like that, but maybe there's water on the surface and we're getting back blues. Who knows? Anyways, this is that line again. We saw that before, a different way of seeing the image further out. And there's Copernicus crater. And of course, Super Dave, the next time, well, I'm looking here for you. The next time we do this, you know, it takes me 15 minutes to shoot up amazing images for your community and stuff. And we'll do exactly what we just did. Like, this is pretty cool. So I'm inviting myself again, man. I hope you're hearing me there. I'm inviting myself back.
Yes, I am. I'm awesome. I'm glad you would invite yourself.
Man, I'm honored to be here. Honestly, the live stream, it was funny. I fell on your live stream, and all of a sudden, Super Dave 44 is there, and I'm like, hello. And you look at me, hello. I've been here for 2 years. I'm like, oh my God. But your community was talking about my research, man. Okay. This is why I was like honored, because I wasn't there. So, and I realized also that how many subscribers do you have, bud?
2,300.
So you're getting up there now. Well, out of your 2,300 subscribers, during your live stream, I have to admit that all of every community member that was in your chat, man, when you were doing a live stream, they're all people I recognize. It's all people, that are in my community. So I'm like, okay, my community is following you. No, it's you sent some people over my way, and I know it. No matter how big or small we are, that doesn't matter. You did send people my way, and people did tell me, excuse me, that they came from your channel, from Super Dave. So I think that's pretty awesome. What are these, man? Okay, get this. This is maybe 1 square going by. Look how many times it appeared in the frame. I don't know what it was, but it was flashing excessively. No, it's not a plane. Don't worry. That what I'm showing, I guarantee they're not planes, because I can know just by the size and stuff. This is at night beside the moon, and this went by. Pop, 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 pop. With the naked eye, I saw 3 movements. I saw 1, 2, and 3, and in the frame you could see it almost looks like. It's not, but it looks like I bumped my camera and I was trying to get the square and it went boop, 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 all beside it. But these are lights that appeared not simultaneously. It was one light that seemed to be moving across the sky, yellowish, reddish color, right beside the moon. And I tell you, the moon was just off of the area there. But I get a lot of flashes of lights on the surface. I want to see if I have another one. Okay, well, hey, this is good, showing you this, my friends, before I go on. I know you're all going to appreciate this one. Before I talk about the crater, can any of you does anybody know what this crater is? Can any of you take a guess? We're very, very close.
The lighting is beautiful on that.
It's Aristarchus crater. It is. Thanks, man. And I did add a red filter to the surface. So no, the surface isn't red. Here, this is Aristarchus crater. And what I did is I enhanced the light. It gives a lot of reflective features on the areas where, again, I just call these light sources. I don't know what they are. Those two, buddy, could be just refraction, eh? Like you said, you're seeing these spots. Could be just the sun that's reflecting. But Aristarchus crater right here, there's that humongous crater now, because we're so close to it, which is just what, 70, 80 kilometers, I think, Aristarchus. So I don't know if you guys know it. We're looking at 80 kilometers across in one frame shot. And often people with my telescope tell me, the last time I posted this, man, somebody asked me, can you zoom in? I was like, guys, this is 80 kilometers. I'm zoomed in like 50,000 times. I can get in more than that, because at one point, well, it's the focal point. Sorry, the optical point will be destroyed. We're gonna get some pixelation. But man, we're looking at the surface elevation all around Aristarchus crater. The big whole black spot that's there, which is no bigger than a dime usually seen, because Aristarchus crater, you guys all know, everybody looks at it this size, right? Everyone looks at Aristarchus crater that size. So we're looking at just one of the crater areas. So this is literally about 35 kilometers that we're looking at right here on the screen. And look at that maddening, blinding, darn surface inside of the crater that we can't see much again, which, by the way, I never was able to clarify. Here, this goes around. They say it's a crater. Why would they say it's a crater when it's a line leaving this other crater going in a U shape, canyon shape, goes around here? Anyways, pretty exceptional when you think of it. And man, this was Aristarchus crater. And I promise next time, man, I'll be able to show you more pictures because I think we're pretty much out now. We already looked at all these pictures. Yeah, I guess we did. What is this one? Last one here.
You're an
Oh,
awesome guy, bro.
hey, man, hold on. Last one to get a lot of your trolls. You need trolls too, man. You need to feel that love. You got to get some trolls too on this channel. Check it out because you don't have any, by the way. You got an amazing community. This is our celestial sun. Our sun, the one that's in our solar system. And beside it, there's an object there. Not refraction of light, just my belief. I showed the live video. You remember it, I'm sure, of the celestial object moving alongside of the sun. Now, let me tell you, 24 hours, 24 hours ago, before this, not now, but last year, there was a mass coronal ejection. And we saw massive elevation here of fire, smoke, or plasma come out on the right northeast side of the moon. Sorry, the northeast. I mixed up my celestial objects. The northeast side of the sun, and it started floating away. NASA even showed images of some of this. But what I was insinuating is that not just that it could not, maybe not necessarily just be a planet. It could be some plasma or a massive plasma ball that could have come from the sun. Because what occurred right after that, brother, is that the sun, they said, now went into a solar minimum, right? We all hear about that vaguely once in a while, that the sun's dimming down, that it's in its quiet season, if you want. And it's just other possibilities. So I don't know what it is, but it's still something that appeared beside the sun. So if I was to put Earth beside the sun, this dot that here, the cross here, my marker, is about 5 times the size of Earth right here. So this would be like, and I'm not exaggerating in any way, this would be like about 200 Earths as a size, if you want. But again,
wow, that's huge.
Yeah. But again, man, if this is passing between us and the moon, maybe it's an asteroid. You know what you get me? Like if it's something that's like just in lower Earth that was floating by, which they did, NASA themselves admitted finding 3 in lower Earth orbit objects. They had no idea where they came from or even what they were doing there. So this could be just an asteroid that is in the vicinity, lined up with the sun, but very close to Earth. So that would eliminate it being very, very, very big. It would be more like a football field size. But just, to give your viewers the ideal of, depending on how far the thing is, like I could say, look, there's a planet going to crash into the sun. Well, maybe the sun's thousands, hundreds of thousands of light years further than this object. It could be. I don't hide it, but I find it weird that the sun reacted with a mass coronal ejection if this object was close by. So, you could speculate, you theorize, dream, whatever if you want. And this is what I do when I start my videos every day. Hold on.
Yeah, man.
There we go. Doesn't want to work.
Your work is very fascinating, Bruce.
Well, man, you're a fascinating guy. I love you, man. The pieces for the support, man, by the friendship, contributions to the channel and everything. And I intend, I hope we stay in touch, man. This was fun, bro.
I definitely will. Yes, it is fun. I don't want to wear your voice out if you're going to do this again for us.
Oh yeah, well that's it. I'm gonna go. I gotta start a video. My team's gonna be waiting for me. But listen, we can do this again anytime. And we must. Did we approach an hour, man? How long did we do this? This was pretty cool. I didn't see the time.
1 hour and 50 minutes.
No, you endured me talking to you for 2 hours. Man, I got a big. That's why I have a sore throat.
You're much appreciated, dude.
So are you, man. Thanks for sharing my work, bro. This is a lot of help for me, eh? And if your community is listening, I love you guys and gals. Thanks a lot for supporting the channel.
My community is full of sky watchers, and a lot of this is very interesting. I thank you for being on, sir. I'll let you go, and I'll definitely stay in touch with you.
Same here, my man. Yeah, we'll talk after that. So listen, I'm looking forward to having your video up. Once your video's up on the video, I'm not going to share it on my channel because I don't want to steal the views. I want the people to come and see the video here. It'll attract people on your channel, bro. But I will be sharing the link, and I do want to maybe, if you give me permission, in my next video, I am going to slip in a sneak peek of you and me chatting. Is that okay?
Awesome. Yes, sir. That's very fine.
It's just to attract people, and I'll just say, here's you and I, a little clip, 3 seconds, and then they'll be able to go see the link, because I know people will come and see your video, bro, because the questions that you're asking me, for me, this is why I'm here. This is what I want to talk about. I want to do this every day, every single day with a whole bunch of channels. So I thank you for doing so. I got Steve-O, WSO, hello and shout out for him. Another friend that I hooked up with him. I did some talking on the show with him too. So now you and I are doing this. So this is pretty awesome. And you're going to have to give me a lesson in how this stream stuff works, man, because now I can't do it because I'm going to look dumber than you, man. I'm not going to be able to. Like, I'll probably be upside down, This is good. So Matt, overall, were you nervous, or how do you think this is? Is this your first video, man? This is not the first time you interview someone.
No, it's not. Jeff P was on my panel also. I've had Morning Dew.
Hello, Jeff.
I've had several.
Yeah, I remember you talking.
I've had several.
Well, this was just awesome, man. Thanks so much. I'm going to let you get going. You're going to have to put this. Actually, so this was live on your YouTube?
It's live right now. Yes, you are the one with the most subscribers that's on my panel tonight, ever. And I really appreciate you, Bruce. I love and appreciate you, man. I love your work.
Well, thanks, man. Well, the subscribers that I have it's you guys. You guys make this channel. Yeah, I'm doing the research, but if I was doing the research and no one was here, these videos wouldn't get out. I appreciate the shares and everything. You too, man. Well, anyways, we're not done. We'll be I'll be bothering you along the rest of the week there, and I'll be stopping by to see your live streams too, man. And thanks again for having me on, bro. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bruce. That was fascinating, y'all. Thank you, Hodgepodge and John Boy and Darla. Thank you for the donation. When I get it, I'll make sure it goes to Bruce. Y'all have an awesome night, man. And I thank you all for being here.